Today I'll be making a video of bounty prep, getting ready for the Witch Queen by doing bounties, getting all the materials, and basically throughout this entire video I'll be showing you how to do Destiny chores. Yes, not even joking, not even or exaggerating. This is basically what everyone will be forced to do, well, most people. Destiny chores for preparing for the next DLC. So I'll be sharing some tips and advice, and I'll try my best to go through each of the vendors. Let's start with the Crucible. I would highly recommend to not do these bounties. Bungie has said bounties will be reworked and I don't trust them. I would definitely start the other vendors until there is a TWAB where they say they'll rework the bounties, but it will still count as XP, but I highly doubt it. Wouldn't recommend to do the Crucible and Gambit. Gambit, no. Crucible, no. And then for Gunsmith, no. I also do not trust the Gunsmith bounties as well. For the next vendor is Zavala. I do recommend to do these bounties as much as you can. They haven't mentioned about the Vanguard bounties. So as of now, unless they say something this week for Thursday, you can do bounties for this vendor. Now for Ida. For the Ida vendor, the XP is very poor, so wouldn't recommend to do any of these bounties for bounty prep. Completely useless. XP doesn't seem a lot and doesn't seem worth it. For the clan vendor, I do highly recommend to get as much bounties as you can for the clan. Now I only did a couple, but like I said, it is everyone's choice in playstyle of what they want to do, where there are matches for Crucible, raids, Nightfall, and Gambit. And of course, make sure you buy a lot of raid banner as well. Now for the Iron Banner. Let me just say that I have not done any Iron Banner, but if you are a PvP main, go crazy with the Iron Banner bounties. I will be forced to do around 3 for each of the characters, and for the 4th one I will abandon because I just don't have the time to do all of it. As I said, now if you are a PvP main and you love PvP, then go crazy for it, because these bounties, they give a lot of XP and also will give advantage of raising the artifact mods for next season. This is another vendor for PvP and as well for PvE if they do want to do these bounties. You can also rank up and save the engrams to get weapons, armor, etc. Don't bother yourself doing the repeatable bounties for bounty prep. Of course, doing repeatable bounties is beneficial when leveling up for next season, which that is a different category, and it wouldn't be a good idea of me talking about it because I'll be winding up talking about that method for another 5 minutes, and it just make this video too long. Now, if you are a PvP main and you love trials, then go for it. When trials is available for PvP mains, you can get the daily bounties done. Now, if you are a PvE and you hate trials or you're not a big fan of it, then focus on the planets and for the Nightfall bounties. These are just option bounties that will be good for the Witch Queen. So now we're going to be taking a look at the planet vendors. Now I do highly recommend to do as much weeklies as you can, and for example for the Cosmodrome there are 2 weeklies and a couple of bounties that you can do. Now the weekly bounties for Cosmodrome is probably the easiest throughout this entire game. Highly recommend to get as much bounties done for the Cosmodrome. Now you can also go to Earth and you can get 3 of the bounties done, and then the next day you can get additional more, maybe a couple 2 or 1 bounties as well. So doing bounties at EDZ, right, can be another good option to get the bounties done for the Witch Queen. So next will be Nessus, and you can also do bounties from Failsafe. So I do highly recommend to get them done. Unfortunately, these planets don't have any weekly bounties, but they do have the daily. The vendor in Europa, there's gonna be 2 weekly bounties and a couple of daily bounties you can do. Highly recommend to get the weekly bounties done. They take forever and they're completely boring. Now I will say that if you do want to, you can also wait for another week to get the extra weekly bounty. Now the moon. Oh boy, the moon. People are going to probably not like me, but the moon is probably my least favorite planet because the weekly bounties in the moon drags on and I sometimes fall asleep. There'll be 1 weekly bounty which takes forever, by the way, where you need to complete the waves of the Altar of Sorrow, and it takes forever. And then we have another one which I highly dislike and I'm really fed up, is where you have to complete the 3 lost sectors. But it does give a lot of XP, so highly recommended, and it's basically the definition of Destiny chore. It's not fun, but it is worth getting the XP. So yeah, more Destiny chores for prepping the Witch Queen. Isn't that fantastic? If you go to the next vendor, the Nightmare Vendor, let's give that a nickname, there are also additional weekly bounties you can do, which I highly recommend, to go to nightmare hunts and defeat nightmares, and of course doing nightmares at the lost sectors across the solar system. So what you can do here is do these weekly in all your 3 characters, and let me just say, it's extremely fun. I just love doing Destiny bounties. Seriously, it's fun. I'm just being extremely sarcastic right now. I'm trying really hard not to make a rant right now. Now we have a vendor to Dreaming City. Dreaming City bounties completely useless unless you're trying to farm a guard roll for the scout rifle, sniper, hand cannon, etc. Then of course you can do these bounties and get it done, but do not do any of these bounties for prepping. Like I said, they're completely useless. They don't give a lot of XP, and a lot of them don't give XP at all. So don't bother yourself doing these bounties. And Dreaming City is probably one of my favorite planets, but unfortunately I cannot do any of these bounties since I don't really need it. And now Tangled Shore. Oh boy, where do I begin? Tangled Shore will be disappearing for the next season, as well as Presage, Harbinger, and all these amazing Nightfalls, Water of Nothing, Hollow Layer, Broodhole. Well, Broodhole I never liked it, but yeah, they'll all be disappearing as well, since Tangled Shore is connected with all of them, right? So that's a big unfortunate. And all these wanted bounties, these weeklies, will be gone. So highly recommend you don't do any of these bounties. I only have around 400 materials of Dreaming City, so I might as well just get 2,000, so I'll do a time skip for this. I apologize for that. So after spending 10 minutes of my life, I decided to just get over 3,000 materials. Yay for Destiny chores. So how many vendors do we have? It just goes on and on. Oh yeah, the helm, I forgot about that. In the helm, there'll be a couple of vendors which I don't recommend you do the bounties. Do not do any of these bounties. I wouldn't recommend to do them, just focus on the planet, besides Tangled Shore. And make sure you turn in your rank engrams as well, which I haven't done. I have 45 and I totally forgot about it. Now for the Dreaming City vendor or the Wayfinder, I wouldn't recommend to do these bounties. I don't trust Bungie. But then again, you know, I was thinking about it because Dreaming City's not going away and it is connected to Dreaming City. Then again, I just don't trust them, so I wouldn't really touch these bounties unless Bungie mentions in the TWAB that they'll be available, but as I said, I don't trust them, so I wouldn't recommend it. For the Xur Vendor, I do highly recommend to get as much bounties as you can, and only the dailies. Do not bother yourself getting the repeatable bounties for the bounty prep. They're completely useless for now until leveling up for the next season. And I wouldn't bother yourself touching repeatables. So no repeatables when doing the bounty prep, or in other words, no repeatables for Destiny chores. Right? They don't give a lot of XP, and it's completely not worth it for the bounty chores for the next season. Highly recommend to do one of the Starhorse bounties. I would say the second last one or the second third one will be the best to do. Make sure you get one bounty done for all your 3 characters for the Starhorse, and as well spam of getting all these boxes, which I will explain very soon. Alright, so let's talk about the materials. For the Gunsmith, highly recommend to get rid of all of them near the end of the season, probably the last week. I feel there will be another TWAB of buffs and nerfs about weapons, and it's a possibility you can get these weapons at the Gunsmith. So I would wait until there's a TWAB. If not, then you can go crazy and get rid of all these Gunsmith parts. Now for the planet materials. Make sure you have around 3,000 for each of the planets. Every time I try to get the upgrade molecules, it always seems to be earth materials, so I try to go around 4,000 or 3,500 materials for the earth. The Tangled shore materials. For me, I decided to just leave the materials, so of course the materials will disappear. But I'm just gonna leave it just in case if there's some bugs where I need to fuse weapons or armor, and then for some reason they forgot to get rid of the material. So just for a backup, I'm just gonna leave it there. For these strange coins, I would highly recommend to have around 30, and then if you want to, you can have 30 for the postmaster. Treasure keys, you can get around 21, and then you can get another 21 on your 3 characters at the postmaster. Like I said, you don't have to save a bunch of keys at the postmaster, only if you want to. And for raiders, and I guess for me, since I do need it for dungeons, etc., it is best to have as much raid banners as you can. So make sure you have a couple, or at least 80. Now for the upgrade materials, highly recommend to have 25, because leveling up to 1500 cap is gonna take a while. And make sure you have a lot of master cores. Unfortunately for me, I have used it for, I guess, builds, videos. I guess I have used for the master cores for builds and videos, so you can see that I don't have a lot, unfortunately for me. And make sure you have enough enhancement prisms, since we do needed for upgrading armor. And mandatory, which I haven't done yet, is to get as much ascendant shards as you can. You only can get up to 10, and then you can save a couple at the postmaster. Now for me, I do wish they could extend the ascendant shards to up to 20, but they did say that they are going to make the cost of ascendant shards for mastering work a bit less. For glimmer, you can use the Savala ships for season 3, and you can stack them at the vault. Now let's talk about the Xur boxes. We don't know if it's going to be nerfed. We don't know if they're going to make it capped to 20. We don't know anything at the moment. But if you are playing Dares of Eternity, I do recommend to stack as much Xur boxes as you can. It is a possibility that you can use these boxes at Vantage when leveling up to the soft cap of 1500. Make sure you have enough boxes and as well strange coins, because you will need it to get bounties done on 3 of your characters, since the XP for the Starhorse is a lot. Now for raiders. For the raiders, yes, if you do play raid a lot, you can also stack a bunch of the keys so you can get the high stat armor, new weapons for the next raid, etc. if you want to. If not, it's not required. And for me, I'm not really going to bother myself getting as much of the keys as I can for the raid. Now we do have these mod components which you will have to get rid of. For me, of course, I will get rid of it or just leave it there. So make sure you get rid of it before the season ends. Let's talk about the bounties. So I'll be showing you the Warlock, Hunter, and Titan bounties. So mainly, each of the characters you can get around 63 bounties. So that'll be around 189 bounties. Now I do recommend to do around 180 bounties or 81 because you will need extra space for the story and for the new quest for the next DLC. It all depends on what you want to do, and it also depends on which character you're going to go first. For me, I'm going to focus on 181 or 182. And this is just for me. I know people would disagree with me and say 189 full. I don't trust the servers at the moment because I feel like the quests and the DLC, the weapons, they'll go to Postmaster, and then maybe there might be a glitch and bugs because you guys know for the DLC there's always going to be bugs. So let's talk about bounty chores. Now I'm going to go on my Warlock first, and you can see that there are many mistakes of me doing the Gambit and the Gunsmith, which I have to get rid of and work on the planets and extra Xur bounties. Now here is just an example of the bounty prep, and you can see that my Warlock has these unfortunate Dreaming City tokens, which I cannot get rid of it unless I complete the quests, which is a drag. And of course, I have these Dreaming City bounties, which I need to get rid of. So yeah, my Warlock probably has the most complicated. And you guys already know my Warlock always gets the worst luck. And even doing bounty chores, my Warlock gets the worst luck. And unfortunately, I have to do more bounties, but here's just an example. You can see I did one Starhorse bounty. So you notice that I'm trying to do as much weekly bounties as I can. And you can see I am missing Iron Banner. Now, like I said, Iron Banner is probably my least favorite bounties to do. But it does give a lot of XP. And of course the pinnacle for leveling up for next season, etc, etc. For PvE mains, I hate to say it, but it would be best to do around 3 for each character if you can. If not, just do 1 here and there for each of your characters. Because I'll be honest with you, it's really long for PvE and it can be extremely boring, especially when you're trying to get your bounties done. Then you have those players where they do this glitch of the no mercy where you can't get mercy, and then they're destroying you at every spawn when you get trap, right? And OMG, let's not go to that chapter. Alright, so now I'm gonna go on my Hunter, and you can see my Hunter is probably doing way better than my Warlock, unfortunately. And you can see that I did focus on planet bounties, the Xur bounties, the Starhorse bounties. And of course, I know I'm missing Iron Banner. I will have to add that. There are still some exotic catalysts I need to work on for this season. So for me, my goal is just to get around 60 bounties done and then leave the 3 extra space. This is my renew version of my Titan bounties. So this one is semi-perfect. You know, I only have the fireball data fragment and this quest that I cannot get rid of, the battleground quest. I can't get rid of it. It says I have to do the story. I'm not gonna really bother myself doing it. And you can see that I did as much weekly bounties for the Europa, Xur, Starhorse, and I'm just missing Iron Banner bounties, which I will be doing. And I can get rid of the dailies and replace it with weekly Iron Banner. And of course, one more Europa bounty. And of course, I am missing one clan bounty, which I honestly am probably not gonna do it. So that is all the advice and tips I can give you for the bounty prep. Oh, in other words, doing the Destiny chores, bounty chores for the next DLC, Witch Queen. Hopefully for the next 2 TWABs, they will mention more about the bounties, destinations that won't be available. And if they do nerf the Xur boxes, it doesn't really matter so much because you can get strange coins and treasure keys, which will be beneficial for leveling up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.